All right, guys, let's talk about the Google Pixel 6a. This is Google's newest phone, part of the A series. This phone is going to be a very, very good seller. I expect Google to move a lot of units of this particular device. It has the looks, it has the speed, and it has the price point. So this should be a very successful phone. With that being said, it's not a perfect phone, but of course, nothing is, especially in tech. There's a couple things that I noticed that I don't like about the device, but there's definitely way more good than bad. So what happens when speed hits a wall? So starting off with the Google Pixel 6a, is very similar to the Google Pixel phones, the 6 series. It has that exact same design aesthetic with the camera bar and then the different two-tone colors. This one I have the chalk gray with the white and of course the black camera bar there. So very clean looking phone aesthetically. It looks extremely nice. This screen is a 6.1 inch screen. It is an OLED screen, which means it has really good contrast, beautiful colors. It's definitely a joy to look at. It gets bright. Wish it would get a little bit brighter for when you're using it out in the daylight. The brightness, we can turn it up just a little bit. I mean, in the bright sunlight, it gets a little bit hard to see. I wish it had a couple more nits inside of it, but for the most part, it's a great looking screen on a great looking device. As far as speakers goes, it has a couple speakers on it. It's stereo sound. Of course, one is going to be above the punch hole, right there above the punch hole design. And then the other one, of course, is going to be in the bottom next to the Type-C port. Phone. So if you have smaller hands, then this is definitely would be the phone you want to get. It's not cramped. I think it's actually pretty good. It's a sweet spot. I think Google did a good job with selecting that screen size. As you can see in the camera bars, the Google Pixel 6a is a lot shorter. It does not protrude near as much. And that's mostly because they completely changed the cameras. Gone are the 50 megapixel sensor inside of the 6s. Aesthetically, this phone is a really nice looking phone to look at. The only thing that really comes across as being cheaply made to me is just going to be the connection of the back plastic with this side rail over here. You can actually feel that, and I personally don't like the way it feels. It feels a little cheap because of that. If this was more of a higher end phone, it would be more of a seamless integration between these two materials. Speaking of the back material, it is plastic, not glass. That's one way Google went to get the price down. That also means it omits wireless charging. So unfortunately, the Google Pixel 6a does not have wireless charging inside of it. The charging that comes with it is going to be 18 watts. There is no charger in the box. There is a USB-C cable in the box. That was one thing that Google omitted so they can get that price down. And speaking of price, we're looking at a $449 price. That will get you 6 gigabytes of RAM and 128 gigabytes of storage. As well as the charging speed is actually 18 watts. So don't expect fast charging coming out of this device either. This device has been an absolute pleasure to use. The screen feels just right. I love the weight of the device. To me, it feels perfectly weighted. It's not too heavy, it's not too light, it's perfectly balanced in the hand, it's easy to text on it, it's easy to put your fingers across the entire screen and do whatever you need it to do. Google picked the perfect screen size in my opinion with this device, so kudos to Google for that. Now, a couple things that I have found out that I am not too thrilled to report on the phone. It does get warm. Sadly, this is a phone. It's still using the Google Tensor chip from the Pixel 6 and the 6 Pro. And I have both those devices, and I haven't noticed them getting as warm as this phone does. When downloading a lot of apps, especially on the setup process, when you put in your Google account and you're getting started, it heats up. Taking a lot of photos and taking a lot of videos, the phone also tends to heat up. So when I was doing my testing, whether I was testing indoors or outdoor, I noticed a peak in the temperature of the phone. It never cut off, it never shut down on me, so that's good, but it was getting pretty warm. I have seen other YouTubers or other reviewers who have mentioned that their units have shut off when they started doing more intensive things like intensive gaming. I personally don't play any intensive gaming on my devices. I play a couple of casual games, and they seem to be fine. But downloading a lot of apps, especially during the setup, and taking a lot of photos and videos back to back, you would definitely start to feel the heat coming from this device. As you would expect, the Google Tensor chip inside the 6A runs just as fluid as it does inside the rest of the 6 series. Everything is very snappy, everything is very speedy. Voice dictation is great, it is fast, it processes everything quickly. The camera features like Magic Eraser, everything just works well. It works the way it's supposed to work. Bluetooth pairing is quick. Haven't had any connection with calling or cell phone quality. Everyone who I've spoken to on this device haven't had an issue with actually hearing me. This is a very fast device, but there's 3 areas where that speed hit a wall. The first area is going to be in the screen refresh rate. It is 60 hertz, which is fine if you never used a phone that had 90 or 120. When I pick up this phone and I'm actually using it, it makes me feel like I'm using an iPhone 12. It's not bad, it's just the lack of speed. It is noticeable. You can actually feel it when you're scrolling, when you're actually trying to use the device. Sadly, that's something that cannot be fixed with software. That is a hardware limitation, so we can't expect that to get fixed in an update. The other thing where the phone feels incredibly slow is going to be charging. 18 watts, it's not where it's at. 18 watts is slow charging by 2022 standards. 25 watts should be the new slow charging, not 18. So expect to put this phone on a charger and expect to leave it there for a few hours just to get it charged up. Thankfully, the battery life is really good. I can get all day use out of it and without worry about having to charge it because of the RAM. And then the 60 hertz screen is also affecting it as well, giving you a little bit better battery life over the 6 and the 6 Pro. The third thing that's going to make the phone feel slow is the fingerprint scanner. The fingerprint scanner is very slow. Sometimes it takes me multiple times placing my finger down for the phone to unlock. I've used different fingers. I registered the same finger multiple times. I did all the tips and tricks, which are tips and tricks we learned from using the fingerprint scanner on the Google Pixel 6 as well. Thankfully, that's something that can be improved with software, which I honestly think Google will fix those things. The Google Pixel 6a has a 12 megapixel camera. This is the exact same sensor from the Pixel 2, 3, 4, and 5 and all the A series variants that came between those. This sensor is tried and true. It works absolutely great. The pictures are one of the main reasons why I fell in love with the Pixel series phones, because they were ahead of their time. And even now, even though it is about 4 generations old when it comes to phones, it's still holding up, and the picture quality can still rival some of the flagships for 2022. So if you're in the market for a phone at the $449 price point, you can't go wrong with the Google Pixel 6a. It's a great looking phone. It has some really good features, OLED screen, decent sounding speakers, great cameras for 2022. It does run behind the curve in a couple of areas, slower charging, the 60 hertz screen, as well as no wireless charging. But if these are all 3 things that you can deal with and live with, then those 3 things should not stop you from at least contemplating getting this phone. All right, guys, that was the review for the Google Pixel 6a. It is a really good phone. For $449, you should definitely consider picking this up if that's your price point and that's what you're looking for in a phone. Just remember some of those limitations as well. All right, and then as a special thank you to the followers that I have, thank you guys for sticking around with me so long as I work on getting the channel set up, as I work on sound and video and getting everything just right. So I want to do a quick little giveaway. So I have a pair of Google Pixel Buds A series. I want to give these away to one of my subscribers. I'm trying to get to 100. So as soon as I hit that 100 mark, then I will be selecting a winner for these, and I will be mailing these off to you guys. Right now, it's just going to be a US contest, so you have to be in the United States to win. But other than that, then just like and subscribe, and as soon as I get to 100 subscribers, I will be giving these away. One of my next videos is going to be a headphone video where I talk about the different earbuds that I have and the ones that I like. So I will announce the winner in that video, and then I will get these put in the mail and sent off to one of you guys. So thank you guys for joining the channel and helping me grow it. And if you have any questions, make sure you put them down below. Any comments, like, subscribe, hit that bell icon, and I will definitely bring more video content to you. Thanks, and let's get to 100 subscribers, and that way somebody can get them some Pixel Buds. All right, thanks guys.